Okay, good morning once again. In our today's class, we introduced Fly in our previous class, and in our today's class, we will be we actually deployed our Casey Notes app, the one we built with NodeJs, but then failed to persist data. And because we don't have enough time, we will not try to persist data either. What we will do is we will just continue with this, the one we built with Nest.js. We deploy it and then persist data with it using Prisma. Okay, so in order not to waste time, that is what we'll be doing. And first of all, we authorize, we set up Docker, we'll launch our app, and then we persist data. We set up volumes and persist our data. Okay, so first of all, we head over to Fly. And first thing here is the network is very slow. Okay, let me just apps. Let's see okay, we have 3 apps. We have our builder, we have Castbyte, and we have Casey Note. Okay, so let's look at these. Fly move, fly destroy, and all of that. Okay, first of all, I don't want to destroy an app. It will take a little bit of time. I just want to delete it from here. Let's come over to the, this Casey Note and then delete this app. Settings, delete app. So Casey Note like this, and then we can be able to delete it. So we no longer have this Casey Note. So what we do is we go back and set up Docker. So I realized I didn't explain very well what was going on in our previous class in the Docker file. Well, I expected you to basically carry out some research. So what we do now is we create a Docker file. In this Docker file, we start writing some commands. So first of all, we start with the base image, which is the node image. You say from, and we're using the node, is it 18? Is it the bullseye or the bookworm? Okay, let's say 20, and then bookworm slim. I guess is the name. As base. Okay, so we're just setting this as a base. This is where our Docker file will start from. It will actually get this image from Docker Hub and then start building our app from there, because this image includes nodes, which is the minimal version, not the complete node version. We're just using a minimal version of node to actually build our app. And then what next do we need to do? And we need to also install OpenSSL and SQLite. OpenSSL and SQLite 3. So what is OpenSSL? You can just come over here, and then you can say OpenSSL. The network is taking forever to respond. Okay, as you can see, there's something description. OpenSSL is a robust commercial grade full-featured open source toolkit for the TLS, formerly SSL, TTLs, and QIC currently client-side protocols. A software library for applications that provides secure communication over computer networks against eavesdropping and identifiers or whatever. So you can go take, okay, let's look at it here. It's a software library for applications that provide secure communications over computer networks against eavesdropping and identify the party at the other end. It is widely used by internet services and internet servers, including the majority of HTTPS websites. Okay, so you can go check out. I just wanted to introduce it to you. It's used to make secure connections over the internet. So you can basically go check it out and know, try to understand deeply what OpenSSL is. So in order to make secure connections to our database and all of that, we install OpenSSL and SQLite. Because this is bookworm slim is a Debian-based image. We see the apt get update. We say okay, and apt get install #y. And then what do you want to install? We want to install the OpenSSL and SQLite. So OpenSSL. We also install SQLite 3. That's the latest version of SQLite. So what else do you want to do? So after installing the OpenSSL and SQLite 3, what else do you want to do? Okay, we want to move to the next stage. And we want to grab the previous build, which is a base. Say the base image to use for any subsequent instructions that follows. So base as, this time around we say as dependencies, because we want to actually install the dependencies. And actually you can say, okay, move to the working directory, but you can also do something like, okay, run mkdir, that is make directory of app before switching to the working directory. But without doing this work there will do the same thing. It will create this directory and then switch to that directory. Well, this is still the same thing. It will be this. I think this will make it faster. And then moving on, after creating the directory and moving inside the directory, what do you want to do? Okay, we want to copy our package JSON and our package log JSON. Say add. Let me say, okay, package JSON and our package log JSON. And then we want to copy it into this directory, into the app directory in our Docker container. So after copying that, what else do we need? We want to run npm install. So after copying the packages and the package log JSON, remember that this package it contains all the packages we want to install. If you come over here, all these will be installed if you run npm install after copying everything to the app directory. So if you run npm install, everything will be installed. But this time around, this is just the second stage. We're just installing everything, and we don't care about the production dependencies or whatsoever. So what else do we want to do? After installing everything, we'll set up, I think I should be adding comment. It will be helpful. Let's say, okay, this one is, say this is a base node image. And here we say, okay, install OpenSSL and SQLite. Okay, so GitHub Copilot knows that this is what we're doing and it's completing it for us. And then here we say create a directory for the application. But is that really what we want to install all node? This one here is to install all node modules. Install all node modules. Then we say including dev dependencies like this. Great. Then over here, we can say, okay, say the working directory. Then we can say in the container, Then we can say to app, yes, so that we actually know what's going on in each and every step. And here, copy the packages and package log this to the working directory. Great. GitHub Copilot is doing a very good job here. Okay, let me zoom in. This is clear enough. And what else? After running npm install, we want to move on to the next stage. And then here we want to actually build our application. We want to prepare it for production. So we say, okay, from base, that's from this stage here, from base as, and then here we can say as production dependencies. So we want to deal with the production dependencies here. Production depths, okay, no space, production dependencies. And then in here, what do we want to do? We want to set the working directory to app. So how do we set the working directory? Okay, so what do you actually want to do? So from base, we want to actually deal with the production dependencies. So this time around, we'll also do this in this stage. The same thing we did here. We make the app directory in the Docker container, and then we will change directory to the app directory. So after changing directory, what do you want to do? Okay, so here we will do something like comments. They will say set up not the development environment. We say production modules, production environment or production modules. We say production, set up production modules like this. Okay, so what next do you want to do? We want to set up production modules. So we want to copy, should be a space, copy. But this time around, it's not only the package JSON. First of all, copy the node modules. You know, we run an npm build in our base. In this base are dependencies. We run our npm install, so we have node modules. So there's no need to run npm install for in this stage. What we need to do is just copy. They say from which stage do you want to copy from? From depths, this place, from depths, this stage where we run npm install. We have our node modules there, so we basically want to copy them from the app directory. So we will say, okay, what do you want to copy from here? We want to copy from depths. We want to copy app/node modules. Then we want to copy them into our new directory, which is /app/node modules. We want to copy these node modules from this stage to this stage, and then we want to place them in the app directory. But this time around, we already installed, so we don't need to install things. What we want to do is we want to also copy, we want to add the package JSON and the package log JSON. We want to also copy them from this place, from where we installed this. We want to also copy them from there, and then basically, if not from there, we want to just copy packages and package log JSON from our app. This time around, we're not saying from depth, so we're not copying it from depth. We're just copying it from our app right here, packages in package log JSON, and then taking it into our Docker container in the app directory. You know, our app directory. We are actually in our app directory, so we can do something like dot or /. Because we're actually in our app. That's the reason why we changed our working directory to our app directory. So we're actually inside. That's the reason why we're doing /. But copying this from depths, we're actually telling the okay, copy this from this stage in this directory and then bring it into this directory. That's the reason why we're specifying the full path. So after copying that, what do you want to do? We run npm run prune. We want to actually prune our dependencies, and then we say that's the omit equal to dev. Okay, so these prune commands, let's head over to Google and then do something like npm commands and then we see click commands, command line interface commands. It will come over to where it should be down here. It is arranged alphabetically and PQRS. Okay, look at it. Okay, what is saying? Remove extraneous packages. So this command removes extraneous packages. If a package name is provided, then only packages matching one of the supplied names are removed. So we can, if there's a production flag is specified or the node environment variable is set to production, this command will remove the packages specified in your dev dependencies. Setting that there's no production will negate all those things. Okay, so you can check all of this. So if you disable package lock, then extraneous modules will not be removed and it's set up to you to run npm print. So this is, or it will remove the packages that we don't need. But in this case, we are yet to build our app. So it should omit the development dependencies and it should print only the production dependencies. So this is what we are doing. Remove the production dependencies that we don't need. Okay, so the next step is to do what? Is to build app. So how do we build our app? We'll say from depth, from, okay, let's say from base as build. Okay, which stage do you want to inherit from? We want to inherit from the base stage. Where's the base stage? Look at it here, this base stage. This is where we installed everything. And then we have our node modules and everything over there. So this is where we want to inherit from. So what do we want to do from there? We want to bring everything from there. We want to inherit from there and then copy some things and then run some commands from there also. So what do we want to do from there? We want to do the same thing. Our working directory, and then we change directly into this app directory. This is where we want to build our app. Okay, so we'll say copy from, want to copy that from 3. Want to copy that from, where do we want to copy? Dependencies. And then we want to copy the app module, the node app / node modules to app / node modules in our current stage, which is the build stage. So after copying, we've already pruned our production dependencies. So after copying this to this stage, what else do we want to do? We want to also copy our Prisma. You know, we already have a Prisma folder here with schema, Prisma, and every other thing inside. So we want to copy this into this directory as well. So we'll say add Prisma. And then we want to add it to the app directory / Prisma. So we want to copy this Prisma into our app working directory. So we have our Prisma folder and then the schema file to also work with. Okay, so now that we've copied our Prisma, what else do we want to do? So we'll run np, we generate our schema. So we'll say run an npx Prisma generate. You know what this means? It will generate our schema so that we have our functions to actually create nodes, update nodes, delete user, create user, update user, and all of that. So now that we've generated our schema, what else do we want to do? We want to add every other thing. We say add every other thing. Guys, add everything that is in this our directory here to the container, to the app working directory in the container. So copy everything inside of this directory and then move it to the app directory in our container so that our app will be fully set up. Okay, so now that we have everything in place, this is time to build our app. So we'll say run npm run build. So this is time to run our build. Okay, to build our app actually. So now that we run build, we've built our app, but we need our image to be more smaller. We don't want to deploy a large image to fly, so that when our machine wants to clone that image and then create a container, it will take more time. We don't want to do that. We just want to make our container smaller. So we say, okay, this is a comment here, and then we say, okay. Or let us add another comment over here, and then we see this is app code change all the time. So we don't, let me say, we don't need to catch it. We're not catching it because it changes all the time. So every time it changes, our app, we add it and then we rebuild our app. So that is basically it. So now we built our app. What else do we want to do? Okay, we'll come over here, then we'll say from base. Where is the base? Which stage are we inheriting from? Look at the base right over here. Nope. Okay, from base as depths. Okay, from base, this one, the first stage. This is the base from base because we named the base image as base. So we want to inherit from the base image and then run our final, build our final application. So from base, we say, okay, set our node env, say env, and then we'll say node env, we'll set it to production. And then let's make this a string like this. We set our node env to production. And before that, we say env, we set our port, we say port is equal to 3000. I guess this uses 3000 or 3000 as well. Let's check. Forgotten. Yes, for 3000. So we'll set our port to 3000 so that it will correspond. So finally, in this stage, now that we've set our port to 3000 and our env to production, we're telling Node to treat this stage as a production stage, and we're building our final app. We'll make our app directory in this stage, and then we'll change directory into that app directory. And then what next do we want to do? We want to copy our production dependencies. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. We want to copy our production dependencies. If you can remember, we build from base as production depths. So this is where we build our app and then we preview our production dependencies here. Then we have a minimal node modules. So this is where we want to copy our production depths, the node modules in our production depths with minimal packages. We want to copy it over to this stage so we can build a minimal image and then push it to either Docker Hub or Fly. So now that we have a minimal image, what else do we want to do? We want to copy dash from where? We want to copy from build, where we built our app. What do you want to copy from there? We want to copy our app. This is not, okay, it's a distributable. Okay, I wanted to change it to build, but since we're having, if you run our app, we're having a build directory of distributable, the name distributable, so we don't need to change it. This is what we want. Okay, so now when we build our app, when you build, when you run npm run build in Nest.js, it will create a distributable folder with all your build files inside. So when in our production dependencies or in our build stage, in our build stage here, when we run npm run build, this was created in our app directory. So that is the reason why we're coming over to the build stage and then copying what was generated, the distributable folder, and then moving it over to the last stage so we can make use of it. Okay, so copying it and moving it over. What else do we need? Okay, we also need, first of all, before copying it, we also need the Prisma. So the Prisma generated schema. So we say dash from build, from is equal to build, the build stage, we need /app/ node module /dot prisma, and then we need to move it over to this place. We don't need to generate the schema again. We've already done that, and we only want to do it once. So we want to move it to the final stage in the node module /dot prisma. Okay, so when we run Prisma Generate for npx Prisma Generate, it's generated a schema for us to use to query our database, and it is stored right here. Let's move over to Node modules, and then move over to, as you can see, look at the folder here, what we are copying, /.prisma. If you open it, you see your schema, see default JS and all of that. If you open this, you see that, okay, not that one. Is it the edge or the browser? Okay. As you can see, here is our schema. The node scalar field enum, the title content created that, and then the user ID for the everything. This is the config, the generator, and every other thing is generated. So we just want to copy it and then bring it over to our final stage. So now that we have everything, as you can see in here, we have our Prisma folder. We also, okay, I think this is, what is this? Node modules. Close this up. Close this one up. Close this. Okay, so in here you can see that we have our source folder, we have the tests, but we don't need this in production. We built our app and then we copy this. So if you can see in here, we have some things that we need. Maybe you will have a file or something that you will need in your production environment. So this is the time to copy everything that you need. So you say add every other thing in our app that we need in production. So it will copy every other thing in here and then bring it to every other thing that is not specified in the Docker ignore file. So we come to our folder and say .docker ignore. And what do we want to ignore? Let's check our git ignore and then we copy everything. We want to ignore everything that is ignored in the git ignore, then paste it in here. So that when we build our image, Docker will ignore everything that is being specified in here. Okay, so it will ignore the list, the node modules, and the build. It will ignore everything. And then you take only the things that are recommended. Okay, so now let's move back over to our Docker file. And then after adding everything that requires our app to run, we say, okay, the entry point for Docker is, after building your app, if you come over to this packages in here, you see that to start your app in Nest.js, you need to run the command npm run start. So that will start our Nest.js application in production. So that is what we want Docker to do for us. After everything, Docker should start our application in the container so that it can be accessible to users, npm run start. Okay, so this is basically our Docker file right here. Okay, so now let's build Docker build. We want to build this image, the image in our current directory. So let's assume that the image is in our test folder. We can do something like Docker build /test like this. And then it will locate the Docker file in the test directory and then build it. But now it is in our current directory. So we say Docker build the Docker file, use the Docker file in our current directory. And then we hit enter. Okay, cannot connect to Docker daemon. Oh, sorry about that. Let me start Docker. I actually did not start Docker. So let me start Docker. And I guess it's taking a little bit of time to start up. Okay, so Docker is, I should have started it ever since. I don't know why it's taking time. It should start any moment from now. Oops, so what's happening? Okay, so since the Docker is, we want to test it locally before deploying to Fly, but since it's wasting our time, let's just deploy to Fly. But for us to deploy to Fly, we'll first of all launch it without deploying so we can make some changes. Say we say fly launch dash dash node deploy, because we are already logged in. We are already logged in. So if you say fly out login, it will try to log us in, but I'm already logged in, so I don't need to do this. Or if I'm not logged in, the fly dashboard will not, it will prompt me to log in. So since I'm already logged in, it's taking time because of the network. Oops. Okay. Wow, this is not sweet. This is not sweet. Okay. Why is it taking? Okay. Okay. Timeout network, and it's saying time out. Okay, since this is not sweet, what should we do? Okay, fly launch dash dash no deploy, because I'm already logged in. Okay, could not find. Oops, Control C. Let's cancel this because we are not in this 11 nest case note directory. So let's change directory into cd11. What is this? Is this now? It's now that this thing is opening up. Okay, so let's change directory into 11 case notes. Okay, so we are right in here. So docker build, and this time around it should build. Oh, what is this? Fail to resolve. Fail read docker on open. No such file or directory. 11 case notes. Okay, fail to solve. Finish. No docker open docker file. No such file or directory. Docker file. Docker build. So what's happening? This is not funny. Docker build. Oh, okay. There is a dot in the, okay. Thank you. That was a mistake. Docker build. Okay. Thank you, Toby. It is now sweet, and we're going on, moving ahead. Okay, this should take a little bit of time because of our network. It is not on our side. This is taking quite some time. So why it's taking time, let's open another terminal, change directory to this, clear the terminal, and then run fly launch dash dash no deploy. And let's see which is faster. The Docker file, this one is still building. It's now installing OpenSSL and SQLite 3. And in here, we are launching our app. This one is taking more time. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. So just to install OpenSSL and SQLite is taking more than 30 seconds. Right here, this one is the Mesevoid. Network is very, very bad. What happened? Failed to solve, did not complete successfully. Unable to locate package OpenSSL, unable to locate package SQLite. Okay, so what's happening? apt-get update and apt-get installed OpenSSL and SQLite 3. So I guess this should be network error, I guess. Should be from the network. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, build. Okay, so okay, our fly launch is now. Okay, do you want to tweak? Yes, we want to tweak some changes actually. So pop that up for us so we can tweak changes. Wow. Everything is just taking time, taking time, taking time. And this is not good. Oops, see, network is hung up. Wow. I launched that there's no deploy. The Docker build. Everything, the network is very, very poor. Very poor. Yes, want to tweak some changes. Great. So what changes do you want to tweak? Want to change the app name to Casey Notes and not 11s Casey Notes. So the port is 3000, great. And provider, nothing. But I think that's all. That's all we want to change. We don't want to change the region. This is great. And then we'll confirm our settings. Okay, so we can come back to our terminal and see what's going on. So it's actually launching our app. It will create a flight terminal and the rest. So why this is building and ceasing, I don't know. Ah, Debian, network. Okay, let's see if Fly will do this for us. Waiting for launch data. Okay, we're still waiting to create a flight terminal and the rest. And this wait is actually taking our time. Okay, great. So we now have a flight terminal with the app name of Casey Notes and the region of Amsterdam. We have internet port of 3000 and every other thing. Okay, so can come over here and see fly deploy because everything is in node in ship fly deploy. So let's see if actually fly we take advantage of our slow network and then try to help us build this image since on our local machine the fly builder is trying to start up, and once this machine starts up it's going to be a boom. It will build everything for us. The network is slow and the fly builder it's I don't know if it's finding it difficult to start up because of the network. This is also taking time. Okay. shouldn't be taking this much time. I don't know why. So in our Docker file, is just how to set environmental variables in a Docker file. So we're setting this environmental variable so we can basically use it to build our image. Okay, so the fly builder is now building our image. So after building it, it will push it to fly private registry, the Docker registry for fly. And it will be pulled from that registry, and then our app will become functional in the container. To pull the image from Docker registry and then create a container from it, maybe 1 or 2 containers. It all depends on our specifications. But right now it is building. It's taking much time. Failed to start a remote builder. At first it failed to start, but then later on the remote builder started. Okay, no build context. So I get some errors. Oops. This is all because of the network. Internet load build context. Oops. I guess I don't know what this is, but I think it's failing, something like that. Okay, fail to fetch an image or build from source. Error building, fail to solve, cancelled, cancelled. Okay, this is because of our network. Let's run fly deploy once more. Let's see if it will build now. And if it doesn't, the builder is getting ready, and that is taking much of our time. Okay, so I hate it that this is happening in our final class, and this is not sweet. So there is actually a solution to our problem. I actually wanted to do this myself and then point out some things to you. But since this is behaving like this, I will just actually drop a link where you will learn how to deploy apps to fly. And anything you don't understand, you will drop it on the channel so we can discuss. Okay, so let's move over to, before dropping the link, let me just see Epic. Okay, I think this is it. And I will come over to this place. The network, this one too is taking time to load. And this is my mentor right here. Can't see dots. And this is the Fly dashboard when he was setting up all the tutorial. So he introduced Fly, sign up to Fly, set up Docker, and then deploy to Fly with Docker. So that is the first. And then persistent data and automatic deployment. So here you see how he added so here you see how he added persist application data between deployments, adding deployment health checks, add SQLite console shortcut to the Docker file, configuring GitHub actions for automatic deployment, add a staging environment. That is great. So I wanted to cover in all of these, but then the network is not favorable to us. And then multi-region data and deployment. So here you prepare for multi-region data with LightFS. That's the light file system. I don't know if we discussed this earlier. And then we import existing data into LightFS. If you have any data outside of LightFS that you want to import and you don't want to lose the data. So you also set up console to actually replicate your database. You have a primary instance and then other secondary instances. So that basically if the primary instance is or the primary instance fails, and then one secondary instance will take over. So if the primary instance is back up and working, the secondary instance that was brought up will be taken down, will be demoted to a secondary instance, and then the primary instance will take over and then become the new primary instance. So that is the data replication, database replication. You replicate your database, and then you have different. And the reason why that is possible is because the primary instance, all the writes will be carried out by the primary instance. It will write all your data and then update all your data in the database, and then it will replicate it to the secondary instances where they can only read data, but they cannot update it. Because if a secondary instance of update data or write data, the primary instance will not get access to that data, or other secondary instances will not be able to access that data. So it will result in data loss. Because if a new user creates updates, or let's say a user updates or creates nodes, and the secondary instance decides to write the nodes, the primary instance will not be able to get access to the node and then replicate it to all other secondary instances. So that is the reason why the primary instance is the only one to write to the database, and then the secondary instances will read. Okay, so basically that is the use of LightFS. So LightFS will be set up in Docker on your machine on Fly, where your databases will be replicated. So each and every instance of your app will have a copy of this database, where immediately data is written in the primary instance, it will replicate and then copy this data to all the secondary instances. So you can import data, you can set up console. This is the reason for the console list type, where we have the static type and then we have the console. The static type only has one primary instance and other secondary instances. So if the primary instance goes down, your application will go down, because no secondary instance will be promoted to become a primary instance. But if you set up your database using the console list type, once the primary instance goes down, one of the secondary instances will be promoted to become a primary instance. So once the primary instance comes up, that primary instance that was promoted will be demoted, and then this primary instance will actually take over. So you can also set up a proxy server for multi-region database support. That is, this proxy server will serve as when a write comes in, it will redirect it to the primary instance, and when a read comes in, it will redirect it to the nearest secondary instance. And then you can scale up to multiple regions. You can have 2 applications in the South African region, 2 instances in the North American region, and all of that. You can have up to 20 instances of your application, depending on the traffic you are receiving. And then you can jump into the conclusion, and then he will tell you some things you need to know and all of that. So basically, when you go through this and there's anything you don't understand, you can drop it on the channel so we can discuss together, and I'll try to explain. Okay, so by your day, you are saying Docker desktop with the update feed. Okay, basically you should uninstall your Docker desktop and then install it again, because I don't know what this is. you manually update using WSL dash update. Have you tried this command, this WSL dash update?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically I would think I will download this image and then try to look into it. Even though I don't use Windows, I'm on a Mac, but let me just download it and then where should I download this? Okay, download. And I will try to find solution to this problem and then paste it on the channel or anyhow it is. I will let you know when I find the solution.
Okay, sir. Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Oops. Okay, so let's run this once more. Live.
After 11.
You can mute. You are. Okay, so failed querying for new release. Network. Our network is very bad. Okay, so that's just it. Okay, so most of us we are accustomed to the basics of system design. So all this boils down to system. It depends on the application you want to actually build or the design of the application. So you don't need to go looking for heavy database like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and all of that. So SQLite will serve most of the applications you'll be building. So instead of trying to go for MongoDB that handles replication and database sharding automatically for us, we can just use SQLite, and then Fly has made it possible for us to use SQLite in production. And it has also allowed us to replicate and shard our database. So you don't need to worry about that. So we can use SQLite in our development environment. And we can also use it in production. And not only that, we can replicate our database so that it can be able to handle the incoming traffic. So it depends on the amount of write and read you have. And most of actions carried out on most of our applications are the read actions where users read data. So the secondary instances will be able to take care of the reads. While if a user signs up or updates or creates, the primary instance will take care of that, and it will automatically replicate the data to the secondary instances, and every other thing will be taken care of. Okay, so from there you will learn what WLL is. Is it write ahead log or something like that in SQL, and all of that. Okay, so there's one thing I would also like to point out. You will get to where, let me just show you this. Persisting data using LightFS. The network is bad and it's still loading. Okay, let's click on the code. And I'll point out something to you. Okay, so this is taking more than enough to load. Okay, let me see. Okay, the LightFS file is basically not here. It is not here. And this is not loading on time. Okay, so I'm just, when all of you are done watching this and then learning how to deploy and fly and then supporting multi-regions, you basically have some problems. So from there, we'll discuss all of these things. I will also there's a script, it's a start script that you write in the root directory of your app, a start script that will basically start your application. And when you get to that point and you don't understand, just drop the note on Discord and then I will jump in. And we are not going to basically write that script. So after everything, I will show you how you can do that in LightFS, in the LightFS file without writing that start script, because that is erroneous and it may cause some bugs in your application. When trying to transfer control from the primary instance to another secondary instance, or when you try to rebuild your app and then push it to fly, and when you are applying migrations, you may see some errors while using that start script. But we'll try to figure that out, and then we'll use the LightFS file to correct that. So if you have any questions, you can ask, basically.
Excuse me, sir.
Abayo, go ahead.
I can't find the new tags on my LMS.
You mean you can't
Is
find?
it only me? The new tax that you said you dropped yesterday.
You know you have to be promoted first.
Okay. And like I have 3 tax now that they are waiting promotion. That I have done already. Yes, 3. The last 3 have not been promoted for the last 3.
Okay, I will let him know then. Okay, if you've not been promoted, then how are you able to get access to the test task?
I don't know. I actually messaged him. Then he said he was going to promote me. I don't know. Then the next thing is I saw the task, the test in the last task, which was testing that we did. But I saw that the rest were still awaiting promotion.
You shouldn't be worried because we are currently in stage.
Yeah, I'm not worried. But now the reason why I'm worried now is I can't see the next task. The task that you said you dropped yesterday, I can't see it. That's what I'm talking about.
I just graded you this morning, so you have to wait for promotion. He will promote you basically. Let's say this morning, then you will get to see the final task.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And I believe you are all aware that you must score 85% in this final task to get to the final stage, the project phase.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you just have to do your best to score 85% to get to the project phase. And the next thing is the project phase.
Sir, can we reach out to you during the project phase?
Sure, you can reach out to me.
Okay.
I will be available mentoring you throughout the project phase.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay. So